locked into Inception Radio Network, Superior, Wisconsin.
Now your host of California MUFON Radio, Lorien Fenton.
Welcome everyone to the California MUFON Radio Show. I'm your host, Lorien Fenton. We're here at Fountain Hills, Arizona, live from the UFO International Congress, and we're having a really good time. I just pulled up eating a fat burger from a casino. It was the best thing I've eaten all day. And folks, I actually ate the bun. Yes, I did. I broke my diet and I ate the bun, but it was so good. I couldn't stand it. It was fabulous. It was just, oh my God. Anyhow, I'm having a fabulous time so far. I've been here for about 2 hours, and every kind of internet connection that could go bad did. But we're just so lucky that we're here with you. We somehow wrangled in a wireless connection, so we'll see what happens. So, yeah, and I think everybody in the world saw me get on Skype, so all my friends are calling in. So I'm going to have to tell them I'm on the air and I'm busy. So there we are. So I hope you guys are excited. I've got some really fun and interesting people here, and they're walking by. We're in the lobby of the hotel. UFO Jim just came in, and I've got Janet Lesson with me, and I've got Mr. Hill with me, Benjamin Hill, and I have Jennifer Stein, and I have Javier Sandoval, who's a good friend of mine that came with me to help me get through this whole event. And I think we're going to have lots of fun here tonight, folks. So I don't even know what to say to people because I'm so tired. I haven't slept for 2 days. And we'll just figure out what they want to talk about. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pass it over to Jennifer Stein and ask her if she would like to talk about what she's talked about here this morning at International UFO Congress, and that was the
Travis Walton film.
The Travis Walton film. This is going to be fabulous, folks. So I'm going to turn the computer a little bit towards her, and I'm going to ask Jennifer to talk into the black hole of Dell.
Hi, this is Jennifer Stein, and for those of you who don't know me, I am a filmmaker. And I've produced a number of different films, and the latest film that I've produced, I've spent 3 years in the making, and it's called Travis, the true story of Travis Walton. If those of you online would like to go to a website to be able to see a little more information, you can go to On Wings Productions. That's the name of my production company, and I will spell that for you because it doesn't make logical spelling sense. It's the word on, O-N, then my maiden name, which is Norwegian, Vinge. It's spelled W-I-N-G-E. Add an S to that, so it's O-N-W-I-N-G-E-S, onwingsproductions.com. And you can look at current project, and you'll see a lot of information there about the Travis Walton film. So I was, as I said, 3 years in the making of this film, and I brought it here to Open Minds because this is the largest international UFO conference that happens around the world. It's one of the best, and this is a very sophisticated, educated group of people. And I'm screening it in a film competition, and I'm hoping to win what is their Ebby Award. And the Ebby Award, it was something that was invented by Bob Brown when the International UFO Congresses were in Laughlin. And the Ebby Award is, fascinatingly enough, spelled EBE. It stands for Extra Biological Entity. And it's sort of like a takeoff on the Emmy Awards or the Grammy Awards, and you or the Oscars. But it's a very prestigious award to win. And if I win, it will be my third Ebby. So I'm hoping that I do win here at Open Minds. A little bit about the film. The background of the film is I met Travis Walton when I was running the Roswell Conference with Peter Robbins in 2010. It took me about 2 years to convince Travis that I would be a reputable filmmaker, that I would honor his story well and do justice to his story, and I would love the opportunity to do a great film with him. I was successful at doing that, and 3 years in the making, I think I've created a documentary that Hollywood was afraid to make, or they didn't make, or they couldn't make, or they wouldn't make. Those of you who have seen Fire in the Sky know that great liberties were taken by Hollywood in distorting the actual factual evidence and truth of Travis's story, but it is one of the major UFO stories that has stood the test of time. There's very few other UFO stories that have this much legitimate, credible evidence about a really fascinating experience that Travis had in his life, and it changed his life. And it took a lot of courage on Travis's part to stay true to his story. He came from a Mormon community. Most of the loggers he were with were Mormon. And for someone to come out with a UFO story when they were 21 was like social suicide. And yet he was willing to stick to his story, to be honest to his story. His story has never changed. He is one of the most commendable people, I feel, in the UFO community today. And I'm hoping that my film will be a bit of a breakthrough film for people not interested in this topic. I've done it in a very straightforward approach to the editing. It's not really a UFO film. It's a documentary about the unique event that happened to him and happened to the 7 other logging crew members that were accused of murder when he didn't appear.
Are you going to go on the regular circuit with that, or are you going just on the documentary Sundance circuit?
Well, I will not be able to put it in Sundance for a couple of reasons. Sundance will not accept a film that has been screened elsewhere, and because I'm screening it here first, I cannot screen it with Sundance. I'm also using some archive footage which was not shot in high def. It was done in 1978 by a man named Brandon and Marianne Chase from Group One Productions.
Right, I remember
Stanton
that.
Friedman did this production with them as a co-writer. And Stanton plays heavily in the film. He's one of the associate producers, and he helped me gain access to this footage to be able to use it. So that's... these days, if you try to market a film to Sundance that is not completely shot in high def, you just won't even get in the door.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
It's probably not a Sundance quality film, but I do intend to market it to things like Tribeca Film Festival, Philadelphia
Wonderful.
Film Festival,
Yeah.
all mainstream film festivals that are not typically used to accepting UFO films. And I don't consider this to be a UFO film. I consider it to be a film about one-man story of a really amazing experience that happened to him.
Yeah, absolutely. Travis is, as we've had him on the show many a time, Travis and I have a very interesting relationship. I'm the only one in many years who've asked him one question, and that was, were the aliens more humanoid than the other type of aliens? And it got him thinking about it. He said, I jarred his memory. And that night, he was on the show, he actually thought back on it, he went, yeah, they were a little more human looking with like round eyes. They weren't your typical grays. But he didn't put it past that there were grays on the ship as well. But he said he remembered that. And that was very intriguing to me because I always thought he was captured by the quote unquote regular grays. So,
right.
And did that come out in your filming?
Yes, it did.
Yeah,
Yes, it
very
did.
cool.
Although I'm hoping to do a second version in a little more detail. Ron James and I are going to shoot some reenactments in April in LA and hope to elaborate this section of the film. But with all films, you do the best you can, and you push your budget to the max, and you push your talents to the max. And I had a large team of very talented people that worked on this film with me. I don't take 100% credit by myself. I am the coordinating and the executive producer. I pulled all of this mutual talent together, but I could not have done it without standing on the shoulders of people like Travis and Stanton Friedman and Rich Dolan and Peter Robbins and Ben Hansen and Gary Hilton and a huge number of associate producers we had work with us. It was really quite special. But back to what you were talking about on the craft with Travis's story.
Yes.
Travis has one of the most unique stories and one of the first stories that went public about encountering more than one type of alien.
Exactly.
He encountered not only the Greys, but also these tall Nordics, very human-like, a little bit taller than us, a little more muscular, goldeny blue eyes that almost looked like what's described as the Greek eye, the Greek Olympics that, took place. Maybe the Greek pantheon of gods were a genetic relationship.
But weren't those the same aliens that were described back at Giant Rock and also with Billy Meyer, though?
Well, we don't know. I mean, I don't honestly know.
Yeah, we don't know because he wasn't there with them. He wasn't with Billy and he wasn't with Sturgis and the gang at Giant Rock. So God, help me with the names, you guys. I can't remember who was all at Giant Rock. Come on, Valiant Thor was supposedly the alien. Come on, who are the people there? Adamski, George Adamski.
George Adamski.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that group. Yeah, but these, who knows that they're the same ones? But I got a feeling that they're in the same type of species of that. So
maybe George Adamski has some very interesting stories. I think people are beginning to revisit the George Adamski material.
Oh yes, because it's now starting to come true. A lot of it, which is very
there was his son presented here last year, which was amazing. Yeah, and showed some incredibly interesting footage of himself as a 3-year-old meeting, the Prince of Switzerland and Sweden and wherever George went. He had incredibly, gracious welcomings from heads of state.
Absolutely.
He may very well have been a contactee that was getting a diplomatic opportunity to relate to an ET community. And then it just became something that wasn't going to happen officially, and he was then debunked.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I think there's a high possibility of that.
Yeah, I agree. Well, now we're going to have to move on to the next victim in the seat.
Thank you.
Who does that want to be the next victim in the seat? Let's go this way. Okay, you're in.
We'll switch seats.
Yeah, everybody switch seats because it's much easier for me to talk to you and in the thing, and we're all there. And hi, this is Mr. Benjamin Hills. And I met Benjamin, I couldn't remember where, but he just refreshed my memory. I was up having dinner with, was it at Ralph Ring's 80th birthday party?
That was it.
Yeah, and you were sitting on a couch. Now I remember, you were sitting on a couch and you guys were talking about UFOs and aliens. And I was standing in a doorway and I was overhearing what they were talking about. And so, of course, I butted in and I said, oh, so you guys are talking about UFOs and aliens, huh?
Of course.
So lean a little forward into the microphone and tell us what you know about UFOs and aliens and what you're doing here at UFO Congress.
I've been coming here with great curiosity for 5 years, since it moved to Phoenix. And I've actually been into the whole phenomenon since 1988, when I met somebody that pulled me aside at a party and started me off, So, but it started way back. I'm not going to go into that story as a child because my father was a rocket scientist and I was taken to places, White Sands and such places. So what I have to offer right now is just the personal experience of being up at Mount Shasta, which is known, of course, for strange happenings, especially on the backside, the east and north side, that aren't seen so much by people. And this was not a huge sighting. But the interesting thing was that I went up there in order to do that. On that particular day, Stephen Greer was doing a workshop up there. He had announced this at Phoenix here last year and said, I take 30, 40 people, we go out, we camp there for most of a week and do meditations and call in alien craft, and it never fails. It always works.
Okay.
So I thought, okay, I went up there. He said he would only say the road that he was on up near the summit. And I went looking on that road. Of course, I never found him that Saturday afternoon. And the idea was, we're just going to camp nearby, Panther Meadows or somewhere, and
Right.
just well, if it's going to come down out of the sky, we'll see it too. You know.
Yeah, right. You'll see it because they're big enough that everybody can see them within a mile at least.
Yeah. So we were a mile or two from that location, and I'm not sure to this day. That was August 12th, 2013, and I'm not sure if it happened on that day or not, but it happened for me in this way.
Okay.
We got there late. They kicked us out of Panther Meadows because they were doing trail work. They said you couldn't camp there.
Okay.
So we had to go up a little higher to actually a better place called the Ski Bowl parking lot.
Oh, I know where it is. Sure.
8,000 feet and a vast, beautiful view of the cosmos.
Yeah.
And that night, I ended up staying up the whole night watching the Milky Way just go across the sky. You got the whole thing up there. I mean, you could look up and see the two moons of Jupiter. It was that clear.
Wow.
So anyway, I had binoculars and stands and long lenses and tripods and all that stuff to set up. And the plan was I had Stephen Greer's meditation DVD, which I'd been doing for a while.
Yeah, exactly. You're not playing it, are you, at this moment?
Well, I'm about to. Okay, we get there. We got to cook dinner. I just popped the top on the camper. Okay, and I was going to get all this gear out and do a meditation with some people.
Yeah.
And see what happens. Okay. Well, before I could do that, I'm standing outside the camper, and it is about 8:20 in the evening, and dusk. There's still light in the western sky.
Okay.
The sun is down. It's August 12th, and it's a dark blue, getting to black, almost a star, right in the eastern sky, and right above the ridge, only about a half a mile away, a golden orb appears. And I've been watching the sky since a child, and I never saw something with diameter about the size of a dime at arm's length.
Wow.
With this,
that's big.
With this
That's big.
golden color, and it just moved. Anybody who's seen these things, they just move like you've never seen. And it just moved just above the ridge. I swear I only saw it for 2 or 3 seconds, and then it dipped down below the ridge, and there was this other random guy standing camping next to me.
Random guy. Now he's a contactee now, or an experiencer, or whatever we want to call him.
And he said, "Oh yeah, I saw it too." Okay, well, I went inside to cook dinner and set up equipment and such. It did come back about 10 minutes later. I was inside the truck, and the other guy saw it.
Oh, cool.
And said another couple of seconds, the same thing. So I knew we had something. Anyway, I set up the whole thing, and we sit there. There was 5 of us, I think, that did the Stephen Greer meditation. And but at this point, it was too late. It had been already. I ended up staying up all night with strange guys, of course, playing guitar. Give me the guitar. We had a great time. They were on mushrooms. I was just trying to stay straight so I could run the equipment. And
that's wonderful.
I had a wonderful night.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's a great story. I love it. So did it ever get any bigger than a dime shape, or did it land? I mean, did you see anything exciting?
Nothing like that. No, it was just very close to the summit of Mount Shasta.
That's awesome.
And moved along the ridge. And actually, since I have been talking to people that show up at my house for other things, and they do little trips in the back of Mount Shasta around from Weed coming in.
Oh, sure, the other side,
the,
that's the way to go.
North side, and
yeah,
that they know caves back there, Lemurians, the whole deal. Okay.
Oh, I want to meet a Lemurian. I'll have to go with you guys sometime. Do they look like me? I always thought Italians are related to Lemurians for some reason. I don't know.
They may have started in the Mediterranean, but they ended up there.
They ended up there in Mount Shasta.
so
That's a good place for
Anyway, perhaps when the snow melts,
them. Yeah, we'll make an excursion of it.
we'll get an excursion
Yeah,
up
that'll
to
be
the,
great.
the dark side, if you will, of
Yeah,
Shasta.
that's great. Well, hey, thank you so much for being on the show. I really
Sure.
appreciate it. It's a great story. And I remember you telling me some of this when we were up at Ralph's birthday party. It was a lot of fun. So, yeah, we had a really good time. So, I did. Okay, the next in the hot seat, let's put UFO Jim in. So, folks, I don't think we're going to take a break at the half hour tonight. I hope that's okay with MJ. And MJ, I can't see anything. I can't, I'm barely connected. So if it's not okay, you're going to have to send up a smoke signal or send a UFO and tell me, because we're that entrenched here. But we'll do a break at the top of the hour. So I just want to let everybody know that. Okay, sitting in the hot seat right next to me now is UFO Jim. And UFO Jim is going to be starting have you announced it to anybody yet?
The Sonoma International Film Festival, is that what?
Oh, well, let's talk about that.
Oh, no, you want to talk about UFO University.
Yes, but let's talk about both of them.
well,
We're going to announce something maybe for the first time here, live
probably
on
the
air.
first time. Yes.
Should we do that?
Yeah, it's not going to be tomorrow, maybe the day
No,
after.
it may be like 6 months from now.
Yes.
Yeah, but that's okay. We
Okay.
don't care. We're
Okay.
happy. I'm
Let's-
happy. I'm on the advisory
Go.
board, so that's why I blew the cat out of the bag.
You did.
I
That's
do.
okay.
I blew the
It's all
cat.
good.
I blew him out. He went flying out of the bag. So first of all, UFO Jim. Now this brandy's starting to take effect, folks. So we're just
Right.
gonna have to struggle through with me partying tonight. So UFO Jim is a friend of mine. I've known him for about 3 or 4 or 5 years now. It seems like forever. We're space buddies. We know that already. And UFO Jim has a class that he teaches at the Sonoma Community Center, and you've been teaching
Yes.
it now on
Going on
ufology.
10 years.
10 years.
10 years.
And, yes, and
we
I've been to at
do
least 4
Rotary,
years of it.
actually, Rotary clubs.
Oh, I didn't even know
Yes.
that.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes. Yes.
Cool.
We want to keep it as mainstream as possible. They need help.
They do. They need
You know,
to be. They need to learn.
We're all of like mind.
yes.
And so, but we represent 1/10 of 1/10 of 1%.
exactly.
And it's all the rest of them that don't have a clue.
yeah.
And
It is.
they're the ones I want to help. And so that's why we're doing what we're doing, which are the lectures, et cetera, and so forth. But more importantly, we're now taking it mainstream with film festivals, mainstream film festivals, and we call it the UFO Symposium.
Yes, and it's fabulous, folks. And he started this 3 or 4 years?
5 years ago.
5 years ago at the International Sonoma Film
Sonoma
Festival.
International Film Festival.
Yeah.
That's the website is sonomafilmfest.org. And we are now doing it at San Luis Obispo
Oh,
Film Festival.
wonderful!
So this is taking the subject matter to the public. What we do is we do films. We pick 2 or 3 films that we
Yeah, I was just looking for Jennifer because she's producing the Travis Walton film,
Right.
and I was
And
going to
then-
say she needs to talk to you.
right. We have Patty over here. Anyway, so we do 2 or 3 films, but we also do a symposium panel. And this year we're doing the UFO implication for the 21st century. But last year we did alien abduction with abductees.
That's right. It was
But more
fabulous.
importantly, or equally as important, talking about mainstream, we had the former chancellor of UCLA for 30 years, Dr. Charles E. Young. Dr. Young moderated an abduction panel. He not only was the chancellor of UCLA for 30 years, he also is the longest serving chancellor in the United States of America. And when I was telling Stanton Friedman and Richard Dolan today about it, they're going, "What? Really? Oh my God, we want to be part of it." So this is amazing, going out there and doing this. The classes are great. I enjoy giving them, but equally as good, if not better, is doing the film festival, dealing with masses.
Exactly.
What we do is we get the general public in for free.
That's
I put
right.
the money up, I fund it, to bring the public in.
And I didn't know that for years. I thought they were paying him to do this. And then I find out that he's the mastermind and the big bucks behind it all. So I want you folks to know how philanthropic Mr. UFO Jim Ledwith is. He's a wonderful guy for doing this. And you're really opening up the eyes to a lot of people.
Yes.
And your class that you teach at the community center has never been about profit, and all the money goes to the
I donate
community center.
100%.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
donate it
absolutely.
because I'm here for the subject. That's my passion.
Yes.
So I want to make it happen. My website, by the way, is UFOsArereal.com. That's UFOsRREAL.com. And we're just going to make it happen.
Yeah, it's going to be really awesome this year. Now, I can't go because we have Jim and I have a conflict that weekend. That's the same weekend as the UFO Con. It's March 28th and 29th. But if you're up in the Sonoma area and you do live in Northern California and UFO Con is a little too far to go and you want to go south and you can make it to the beautiful Napa Valley, you can have a glass of wine while you're at the the Sonoma International Film Festival. They have plenty of wine there, right?
We're going to have food and beverage to all the participants that come to the event.
See, there you go.
This
I
is
can't give that to everybody.
March 28th in Sonoma. It starts with a Jose Escamilla film, which is Celestial. And then we move on to James Fox, who will be in the house.
Yeah.
And we're going to have I Know What I Saw. And we're going to be maybe showing some of the new film, The 701.
I don't know what the 701.
The 701. He's doing this with Tracy Torme.
Yeah, and I don't know what 701 means. What does it mean?
Well, we all know about most of us know about Project Blue Book.
Right.
And supposedly there were 701 cases that were unsolvable.
That's right.
That were unknown.
Right.
They were UFOs.
That's right.
For real.
Out of what, 1,000? Wasn't it? No, it was like 5,000?
Something like that. It was
yeah, because it wasn't a huge number of it, because the 700 out of 1,000 would have been way too much for them to ignore.
Right, that's correct.
Maybe it was out of 10,000. I
Right.
don't remember, but it was a small percentage. Was it 10?
Because it's 10,000, so
Yeah.
7% and
Yeah.
the numbers are all distorted anyway.
But let me tell you, folks, even if it was only 1%, that's still
There's
enough
something.
to,
All you need is one.
Exactly.
All you need is one. So
Yeah.
we're working on that. Then we're going to have our panel discussion, of which we're going to have Stephen Bassett will be on that panel.
And he will be down at UFO Con the next day.
That's
just
right.
So you guys know that. So you can't
we're
miss
stretching
Stephen.
him a little thin.
Yeah, we're going to pull them apart and put them in two places at once.
Exactly. We've got Dr. Gordon Spear, professor of physics and astronomy, will be on the panel. We have James Fox will be on the panel.
Yeah, so
And-
it'll be a lot of fun. I wish I could be there, but usually the Sonoma International Film Festival is the first weekend in April, and that was the first thing I thought of when I booked my conference. Was cool, I can go to the film festival next weekend, but it all was not meant to be. But that's okay.
And our moderator this year is going to be, if you're in the Bay Area, you'll know this name, Don Sanchez with ABC. He was a newscaster and for 40 years. So everybody knows in the Bay Area, they all know Don Sanchez. He will be our moderator this year.
Cool. That's
so
wonderful.
We're really happy that we want it mainstream.
Yeah, we've got to get it out there. And that leads me to the last thing we're going to talk about before we move to the next person in the hot seat. And that is UFO Jim's.
UFO Jim's UFO University.
Yeah, which is going to start probably in about 6 months or so. We're putting an advisory board together right now.
Correct.
And we're working on making education about UFO and the UFO phenomena a mainstream item. And if anybody can do it, UFO Jim can, because he is the guy that's out there. He's got kind of one foot in both worlds. He actually has a real job, folks. Unlike most of the UFO people I know, this guy actually works a real job and loves the UFOs. And tell them quickly why. Tell them about your abduction experience.
I believe I'm an abductee. The last time that I was with ET consciously was about 4 years ago in my home in Sonoma, California. And they have an ability to neurologically control us. And they got me up, and I was walking around, probably, they think, get going. Come on out here. We got to get going.
Yeah.
We got more people to see tonight. And so I was down my hallway about 30 feet away from two grays, one about 4 feet high, one about 3.5 feet high. And you think I'd say, welcome to wine country, let's have a glass of wine. I turned a bolt and I don't remember anything else.
Yeah,
So that
he was heading for the front door as fast as he could go.
Exactly.
Away from them.
You did mention one thing, which I never thought about until you mentioned it, was one had his hand on the shoulder of the other.
When you told me that, I was flabbergasted because I've listened to so many people tell me about their experiences with the Greys.
Yes.
And I've never heard of them touching each other.
Yes.
So it was just like,
I think it was
that
a
is so weird.
communication thing.
Yeah.
That the bigger one was telling the little one may have been somewhat of an android.
Or he
You know, what-
he may be a newbie. He may
He
be
may be
like
new.
a
Here's
rookie.
what you do now when they run.
Trainee.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, run after him.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so that's why I was very keen on doing this the abductee panel at last year's film festival.
Yeah, wonderful.
Because-
yeah, and it was a
and-
great panel.
And
too.
I can't believe who I had as my moderator.
Yeah,
You know, that
was
was-
really phenomenal. See, that's what I mean by UFO University is going to turn out to be really wonderful. Is that Barbara Lamb over there?
It is
Barbara Lamb.
Barbara Lamb.
Paging Barbara Lamb, would you like to be on the radio show?
For like 5 minutes.
We're live right now. Do you want to come in and say a quick word or two?
Well-
Everybody's had a few drinks already, so
Yeah.
you're more than welcome
We're
to
happy.
come on down.
Okay.
5 minutes? Okay.
Okay. So
well, okay. I'm gonna have to kick you out of the
No, you
hot
can't.
seat.
UFOsareal.com.
UFOs
UFOSREAL.com.
That's right, and that was UFO Jim Ledwith. He is the most amazing guy, and you guys are going to hear a lot more about him in the meantime. Let's get Barbara Lamb in here into the hot seat right now, and we'll just take 5 minutes of your time at the most. I just want her to come in and give me a hug. Basically, I'm giving Barbara's hug. That's what I really wanted to say. I need a hug from Barbara.
too.
Hi, sweetheart. How are you?
Thank you.
Yeah, it's so good to see you. I'm glad you made it. We saw each other last weekend at the Los Angeles Conscious Life Expo. We had a great time.
We did.
It was lots of fun. The panel was wonderful that you were on. I just want to comment on that.
Thank you.
You said some extraordinary things on that panel, and so did the other women on the panel.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, and I'm not saying anything bad about the men. I'm just saying that the women were extraordinary. That's all I'm saying.
And it's
Okay?
very important
Yeah.
that women are talking on panels.
It is, because I
we
think
need to be, we really need to speak up about all of this.
absolutely,
We need to
and
have that feminine voice. Don't you
yes,
think?
absolutely, and
It's all
talk.
female.
Barbara, do me a favor and talk into the black hole of Dell. See the word Dell there? That's where everybody has to talk, and that's where the
Black
microphone's
hole of
hiding.
Calcutta.
Yeah, it is. It absolutely is. And I just want to say thank you, for your voice for all these years. You've been a wonderful,
Thank you.
you've been an inspiration to me. I met you in, I think, September of 2012.
Could be.
And since that moment, I have really changed up how I think about the alien connection, the consciousness around it, the whole bit. And I've also realized something very interesting.
All right.
Not that the men aren't wonderful with the aliens, you guys, you're absolutely fabulous with them, but women have an extraordinary and uncanny way of communicating with them that's a little more, I think, more of an empathic type of woman's intuition communication with them.
Right.
On a consciousness level, whereas
Yeah.
the men, I think, get a little like they want to fight them. A lot of them
Yes,
want to
yes.
just go out and punch them out. For taking me on.
Yeah. No, I
And-
think women tend to be more open to the fact that there are other beings in the universe,
Mm-hmm.
and that there are various kinds of contacts and encounters that can happen, and that even though many people go through fear and sort of trembling at the thought of having very unusual, from our point of view,
Exactly.
unusual beings, that it can have some rewarding aspects, some of these encounters.
Exactly.
With
Yeah.
many of the beings, very rewarding aspects. There can be development that happens for us with these beings.
Especially
Yeah.
emotional development, I think. I think women
Yeah.
get a lot of, because of our nurturing ability, I think we take it and it kind of expands our consciousness to a whole level that men, they have to get over the whole fear thing long before the fear,
Yeah.
the anger, the madness, I want to, get, testosterone driven
Oh, yeah.
kind of thing before they
Yeah.
realize that, oh, this could be a good thing and it could actually be doing something really extraordinary for me and my DNA and my consciousness and my emotions and everything,
Well, and I think a lot of people don't realize that even when they were little children, and they have these encounters, that they may very well have been trained to do telepathy,
Absolutely.
psychometry, all kinds of psychic skills
Yes.
that they don't even consciously, as adults, know that they have.
That's right.
So when they find out about that, when they're an adult and they have some regressions, for instance, and realize that they've already had that training, then they can get in line with that in their adult lives.
Yes.
Like, whoa, I didn't know I was psychic. I didn't know I could read people telepathically.
Yeah, or better
Yeah,
yet, I was
yeah.
53 years old and I thought everybody had people walking through their walls.
Oh,
See,
yeah.
and I thought that was
Yeah.
normal life, right? So
Yeah.
I was just telling Javier about that
Yeah.
drive in here. I said, I was 53 before I talked about this, and look what's happened to me since then,
Oh, you've had a big opening.
Oh, I
Well,
mean,
and many
mind-boggling.
people have, and there are so many other people,
Yeah.
I think, waiting. Well, they may not even know they're waiting, but
Exactly.
actually,
But you
they're
know what?
waiting to find out all of this history that
Yeah.
they've had that they
Yeah.
haven't even known about.
Yeah, and they
But
just
it's
got to get
there.
over the fear. The fear
Yeah.
is the biggest thing for me, and I think it for a lot of people that they touch that place and they just go, "Oh, I'm so afraid. I don't want to go there." My sister's a prime example.
Sure.
Extremely psychic, absolutely refuses to believe that anybody else out there has that kind of thing, and she doesn't believe she has it, and it's just it's all crammed in there in a pile of fear. That's all it is.
Yeah, and you see, it's too bad because in our culture, there hasn't been, at least for all of us sitting here, there hasn't been that openness in the culture, in society, to think that, hey, this is normal. Millions of people are having these encounters with these
Yes.
other beings.
Yeah.
And millions of people are really, I think, in my opinion, being upgraded in
Absolutely.
consciousness, in awareness, in openness. And so it's so valuable when they can find out about this
Yes.
and find
Yeah.
out this has been part of their experience, whether they consciously knew it or not. This is part of their evolution.
Yes.
And that they're really much more involved than they ever had any idea
Yeah.
that they were.
Yeah.
So I
Absolutely.
think overall, even though we hear about fearful abductions and things, I think the fact that these other beings are coming to us and interacting with us, even if they're taking us and we don't like that seemingly non-consensual part of it, but what they can find out, that what's really been going on for them, is a wonderful thing. I
Yeah.
think humanity is really behind, way behind
Yeah.
the development psychically, consciously, spiritually, way behind so many of the beings from elsewhere.
Oh, yes.
And the more that we wake up to that, embrace it, go with it, the better we are as a humanity.
Yes, I
It's
totally
really
agree.
important.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Oh, Barbara, thank you for being here.
welcome.
Thank you for sitting in the hot seat. Yeah, this is
hot.
you're burning up here. And I will see you over the course of the next 3 days. And we're going to be doing a live feed to Revolution Radio and IRN on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday over in the other in the experiencer room in the afternoon. And I'll come find you and we'll get you in
Okay.
there, and you can tell everybody this again at
Okay.
least 2 or 3 times so they all hear it and understand what's going on.
It's really rub it in there.
Yes, exactly. Get
Yeah.
salt in that wound as fast as we can.
Or sort of soothe.
Yeah, maybe
away.
we need cocoa butter.
Smooth the openness.
That's right.
That-
Yeah,
that sounds
exactly.
good to me.
Well, thank you, dear. And there's some beautiful young man over there ready to sweep you off your feet.
Ready to take the plunge into regression.
Oh, dear. Okay, good luck. Have a good time. Come back to us in one piece. Okay. All right. Let's see. Joanne, you're next. Okay. And then let's see who we got here. We got Patty. No, where'd Patty go? Oh, she left. Okay, that's too bad. And Miles took off. Well, they'll be back. They probably went to refresh. We have Len and Janet, and I'm sorry. And this is
My name's Ava.
Ava. Would you like to be on the radio tonight, Ava?
I don't see why not.
You want to tell us about your experience?
Which one?
Oh, see, there we go. See, I knew I had to ask her that question. So there we are. Okay, in the hot seat right now is Joanne Richards, and she is the wife of Mark Richards, who is probably one of the most famous, I would say, phenomenal extraterrestrial organic flying pilots out there in the secret space program. That's all. I'm going to kind of put that in a nutshell. Let's.
That's cool.
Yeah. So now tell me how you met Mark, and well, don't tell us all every detail, but
No.
you met Mark about what, 30 years ago?
No, I met him in 1997.
Oh, so it's been 15 or 20,
17 years.
17 years. That's
Yes,
right.
17
And
years.
you guys have been married how long?
12 years.
12 years,
Yeah.
12 long years. Oh boy. Wait till the next anniversary. Oh,
Yeah.
they're all fun.
They are.
And Mark is just an extraordinary mind and an extraordinary person. I'm going to have Joanne tell you just one of the many adventures that Mark has had that you've got in book form and report forms and things that people can get a hold of on the internet at your website, which you're going to tell them about. And
All
so
right.
pick one you like. I
Oh,
like the
dear.
Battle of Vesta, but that's me.
Oh, all right. Well, that's
I'm
good.
personal on that one because I got it and I read it.
Okay, good. Well, first of all, the nonprofit is Earth Defense Headquarters. The website is edhca.org. Sorry for my voice here, I'm losing it. So I have reports about on and off-world missions and treaty conferences, and he's been around aliens since he was 2, probably. Lorien mentioned the Battle of Vesta. It was a off-world mission. They were heading out to the asteroid Vesta for an alien conference. And along the way, they had a first contact with a wonderful cat species that could sing and hum, and they're telepathic.
They're my favorite.
Mine too. And they have wings, and they're tall, and they like to color their fur, and they're very sweet.
I like the purple ones.
Yeah, and Paisley. It's like, yeah. And a few of them came back with him and they're living on Earth now. They also came into contact with some raptors, which is one reptilian species, and there was a species, an insect species that had ambushed a Nordic base on the asteroid Vesta and wanted to, from there, aim the super weapons that are up there towards Earth and shoot us. But so there was an in-space battle that Mark
What was he
involved with.
flying during that battle?
Well, let's see. To get to his ship, because he was commanding one of the space battle cruisers of the Deep Space Fleet. So, but to get to it, he was flying I think a Raptor short-range interceptor.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And then, but he was captain of an actual a battleship-sized space cruiser. So,
And now this, and you guys, this all sounds very fantastical. I know that. And one thing I love about Mark, Richard, and Joanne's stories is that when I met Joanne about 3 or 4 years ago, was it? Oh, God, it's been a while now. 5 years ago now?
Yeah,
I don't know. It's been a while. I listened to the story and I realized something very important. There were pieces of Mark's story that I had heard from other people talking to me about, and these are CIA, black military type of people, where they don't tell me whole stories of anything, but they give me little tiny bits and pieces of stuff. And then I go, what the heck is that all about? And then I file it away in my head. And then I'm sitting in a coffee shop with you in Petaluma, California, and you said one thing to me about something about the organic spaceship that Mark was flying and something he had to do, how he flew it.
Okay.
And it brought back stories of a guy from Area 51 who was friends of another friend that told me all of the same thing, and I didn't believe that back then. So there you go. Do you want to? Oh, Patty, please, we'd love to have you. Yeah, 5 minutes. Joanne's almost wrapping up, and we'll have you next.
Well,
So-
you're talking about the ship Minerva that he has flown many times. He
Yes.
was not flying the Minerva in that
Oh,
that
okay.
mission.
Okay.
But she is an organic living being from a very ancient alien species, and crashed here on Earth, I guess. And he's the only human that she's allowed to
That's
fly.
right.
him.
Yeah. And I heard that from, I think it was Ed Slade told Stu Webb, who told me that there was an organic thing that would only imprint onto the certain person it would fly for, and that's why the one at Area 51 was dying, because they couldn't find anybody to imprint with it to fly it.
Right.
And I heard that 3 or 4 years before I even talked to you about
Oh,
it.
cool.
So, yeah.
Very
So
cool.
when you told me that, I went, maybe there's something to all this after.
How about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just was like,
Cool.
okay,
Thank you.
I can handle that.
Good.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're going to move on
All
to
right.
Patty, if that's
Thank
okay.
you.
Now,
Okay.
say the website one
Oh.
more time.
edhca.org for Earth Defense Headquarters, California.
Great. And Joanne will be back with us, and we'll have more stories. I want her to tell us in the next few days when we do the live interviews in the back experiencer room in the afternoons, that you're going to tell us more about the castle and the reptoids and all that stuff.
Raptors?
The raptors.
Yeah,
Thank you.
we don't like the reptoids.
Yeah, that's right. We don't like those. Well, I don't know. The one that came to Barbara Lamb in her living room is kind of cool. So.
Oh, well,
but you know,
most of the reptoids are not that cool.
Oh, really? Okay, God. So we'll have to talk about that too. So everybody, stick around. We got Patty Greer coming up next, and then I can't see what time it is.
It's 10 to 10.
10 to 10. We got 10 minutes with Patty, and then we're going to take a quick break at the station, and then I'm going to bring in all the rest of you that are sitting around. So, okay.
Thank you,
sweetheart.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
And I saw Melinda Leslie floating around with a drink in her hand about 25 feet that way. Maybe we can get her to come on down. That'd be great. And who's snapping pictures?
Queen Jocelyn Buckner, the psychic of Sedona.
Oh, wow. Cool.
The psychic.
The psychic. I love it. Thank you. Thank you for being here and doing that. I love you for that. That's great. And we're going to talk to this lady over here. It's Ava.
Yeah.
Ava's going to talk to us in a few minutes, too, when we come back from the break about her experiences. We got Len Caston who's coming up, and then Janet Lesson. I keep thinking Sasha's here, but he's not. He's in bed. That's where Patty's heading next. Patty, it's wonderful to meet you. I've never met you before, but hello. My name is Lorien Fenton, and it's so good to meet you.
Hi, Lorien.
And I wanted to say thank you for emailing me about being at UFO Con. It's March 28th and 29th, coming up in about a month, and it's already been full for like a year. But
It's always next year.
I've already got you on the list for 2016. I wanted to announce that to you right now, live on air.
I'm ready.
Yeah, and there'll be another person that you may know. How do you say Victoria's last name?
Lillenquist.
She'll be there with you.
Oh.
She doesn't know it yet.
I have been hearing about her a lot, and we live both in Colorado.
That's right. So you guys can commute together. That's how I'll get you down there together. So, so we're all set on that.
Put us on the same spaceship.
Yep. So 2016 UFO Con, Patty Greer will be appearing there. So there we are. Okay. Now, Patty, why are you here this year? I know that you've won awards, the EB Awards here several years, like 2013, 2012. It goes on and on. I can't even remember.
I had dinner tonight with, at our table, there were 4 filmmakers, and between us, we had 5 EB Awards. So it was pretty cool.
Wow.
And we
Awesome.
didn't even need to sit together. 3 are mine, so I was pretty proud.
Great.
But,
Will you give the audience the names of your films?
Yes. My movie that won 2 awards is called Crop Circle Update: The Wake Up Call.
Oh, wonderful.
And I think the reason that movie has created such a stir is a lot of contactees really enjoy their contact. I think the great lesson is when we stop talking and start listening. And all 6 of my movies, I've made 6, but I have no training. I had no intention of being a filmmaker. I laid into Crop Circle. I was severely taken. And 6 months later, I created a full feature film with them.
Wow.
And
yeah.
I still
And you know what's interesting? I'm glad you said with them, because nothing that I do is without them now, and I realize it. I've just been realizing it. I drove over from California with my good friend Javier over here. I call him Javi. Javi came with me, and we met up with another one of our friends named Nate. And he's a new friend, and I realized sitting in his kitchen last night, and we were talking about how we're all part of this family, and some of us have a job to do where it's in communication, and some of us have a job to do where we get people together. And that's kind of my job, is between my conferences and my radio show, what I'm really trying to do is get you guys out there talking to everybody else. It's not about me, it's about them, and it's going through you, through me to you, to them, to the audience out there listening. And it's very important that we get it out there to everybody. And like UFO Jim was talking about his UFO university that's coming up, he's trying to get it all mainstream. And I mean, things are exploding. And just since I came to UFO Congress in 2011 or 2012, it has been like, things are so radically changing so fast. It's mind-boggling to me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
This is my
have you
10th
noticed
year. Yeah, what I'm noticing, which was interesting, because Jim was talking about all the guys on his panel, and I'm like, guys, same guys. God bless them.
Yeah.
We love their wisdom. On the other hand, there are women with great wisdom. So who's having the hot seat next? Was somebody going, women on my panel? So it's like, oh, this beautiful balance on your show in that two 2 interviews in a row. But the women in this field are very few and far between.
They are, and and we're very strong, very strong, very strong. I mean, I love my guys. Don't get me wrong. I love all of you. You guys do some amazing research, but I think the women connect, like I was telling Barbara, on a level that is just so more organic and so more like we know what to do. We're like, okay, it's like we were meant to have kids, so we're meant to get the word out about the ETs. It's kind of like built into us. It just kind of flows. It's much easier for us to do it than it is for the guys for some reason.
Oh,
like you jumped onto it with 6 months later I'm making a movie, and I was like, I came out of the gate and suddenly I'm like, I got 2 radio shows, and you guys, as you all know, I have a speech impediment that I had to get over. I've been through heck, and the last thing I ever thought I'd be doing, Patty, is being on a radio show. It was like, no way. And over at Revolution Radio, how many people have I gotten on that network?
I've lost track.
I know. I mean, it's like, it is crazy. It's like, I'm on the radio network, and then suddenly everybody's on it with me, and I'm just bringing people left and right. But that's what women do. It's not about me, and I didn't mean to bring all that up about me. I shouldn't even be talking about me.
Yes, you should.
But the bottom line to this is we have the ability to see what needs to be done, go in there, manage it, organize it, get it taken care of, network people, and it all just goes. And it's like lightning bolts happening right now in the UFO community, and it's because of women like you and your films, people like Barbara Lamb out there, and Yvonne Smith, and I mean, I go on and on. There's just a million. Melinda Leslie, Janet. Janet has the most amazing radio show. When I get her in the hot seat, I'm going to sing her praises. But I mean, it's absolutely phenomenal to me that the women are really taking over in the community.
Well, I have a really, really big divine woman, feminine story, which is that I've been in more than 100 crop circles over the last 9 years.
Wow.
And I always have said thank you to the sky, thinking it's ET. And people have said to me, love your movies, but you're a little woo-woo. Could you ground out a little? Could you bring in some science? No.
Really?
No, I don't want science. I want to just continue listening and serving them.
Yeah.
Well, this summer, I was thrown into a very interesting position where I was put in the home of the scientist partner, the secret female partner of Dr. William Levengood, who was the only scientist in the entire world that went into crop circle
That's right.
research. And when I was at her house, I ended up staying for 2 weeks, holding my head in my hands for 3 days, because she clarified to me that all these years that I've done all these shows and movies, and I've thanked the stars, thinking that it was all ET creating crop circles, she said, are you ready? It's coming from the earth. Crop circles are coming from the earth in counter-rotating vortices. It is the mother sending these messages up, but they have been predetermined with ET, with human consciousness. It is all 3 of us, and it's emanating from the mother. Now, this I never knew. I had to ask her to repeat it 3 times because I was so, right? Doesn't it hurt?
Almost. But I had 2 pieces of that already. Now, the interesting part to me is, does Mother Earth, or the energy vortex that is Mother Earth, because it's a hologram anyhow, we're creating it, we're keeping her solid, we're keeping her here. Without all of us being here and knowing that we're here on Mother Earth, she would not exist. Okay, because it's really us doing it. Okay, I got that. Yeah, it's a team. It's a team effort. Everybody's working on it, keeping us solid as I speak. So, but what about the orbs that we've seen flying around in the movies and kicking off?
Let me hit you with this.
Okay, I'm ready.
So, what they realized was that as they come out of the earth in these counter-rotating vortices, they are full of 9 different frequencies. There's all these large words that, not being a scientist, I can't repeat, but it's basically what's heating the wheat and throwing this iron ore even that has to be molten at 1200 degrees in a field at night. So all of these interesting frequencies are pitching the vibration and the frequency so high that when they are spinning, the frequencies are getting really high. They're bringing in the ET energies, they're bringing in us, and when they spin to the perfect frequency of that message to be delivered, boom, they turn into these huge plasma balls of light. Those balls communicate in a second, throw the field down.
Yeah.
The only footage in the world called the Oliver's Castle footage, which is where you
Yes.
can see two balls of light. A lot of famous people said it's fake. Go home, go back to sleep.
No way.
The first movie that I made, I completed the film, I thought. I had no idea what I was doing. The editor was a 26-year-old kid that I met on Craigslist. And we finished the movie. I said, my God, I can't believe how that just came right through. How amazing. We're done. Let's go out on the deck and relax. And I said, oh, go turn off the monitor. What's that blue orb doing on it? The huge blue orb filled the monitor. He said, Patty, it's unplugged from the wall. And all of a sudden, the hair stood up on my arms. I had goosebumps head to toe, and he said, you look really weird. What's going on? And I said, I feel like I'm in a crop circle. Go back to the monitor, turn it all on. He said, why? And I said, I don't know, just do it. They came back into my home in Boulder, Colorado, and I said, pull up that footage. He pulled it up. I said, reverse it. He said, why? I said, I don't know, just do it. So I'm staring at the footage. I said, slow it down. He said, how slow? And I said, I don't know, 30%.
Slow gets, right?
No, I mean, literally, I said, I don't know. And then I said, 30%. Like, bang. And we looked at each other, and I said, that was weird. Do it. He reversed it, and right between those two balls of light, I found a direct communication between the two balls of light.
What did it say?
It said the formation. These balls,
Oh my God.
when they turn into balls of plasma light,
Yeah.
high frequency, heavy vibration, they communicate a quick stream of binary code, bang, the field goes down in seconds. In that moment, I knew that I proved it was real,
Oh my God.
and I've been hacked ever since.
That's right. Of course you were. Of course. Why
But it
not?
hasn't stopped me. I have completed 6 movies, and my website is pattygreer.com.
Thank you. Thank
I've
you.
got trailers all over YouTube. You can see the first 15 minutes of each of my movies. I hope that you can come and take an hour and watch a movie or two on the website.
bet.
You can stream them for $5, and they're pretty amazing.
And please come back and be in the hot seat. This week I'm doing tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday in the experiencers room between 1 and 5.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
and
half
thank
an
you
hour,
for
you get a
your
lot more
work.
time. Oh yeah, no, it's great. It's wonderful to finally meet you.
Yes, you
Yeah,
too.
Janet.
And I am officially invited to.
Oh yeah,
UFO
UFOCon
Con.
2016, folks. So it should be there. Yeah.
That was where it's sitting in the hot
Yeah,
seat right
there you go. I
there.
was going to call you after it was over this year to let you know what I'd manned.
Thank
Well,
you.
okay, folks, we're going to take a quick break. MJ, take us out for about 5 minutes, and we'll be right back.
You're locked into Inception Radio Network, Superior, Wisconsin. Don't have a computer? Is your internet connection down? Don't worry. Use your trusty cell phone or landline and call into our listen line at 401-283-6700 to listen to the Inception Radio Network 24/7. Again, that call-in number is 401-283-6700. For the Inception Radio Network, I am MJ.
Hi, Inception Radio Network listeners. This is Amanda. Just a reminder that Inception Radio Network is on Twitter. Follow us at I_R_N and keep up to date about who's on tonight, what interviews they'll be doing, who's guest spotting, what topics they'll be covering. Tweet to us, tweet about us, retweet topics to your friends, and most importantly, never miss a great show again. That's I_R_N.
Do you have a smartphone? If so, Inception Radio Network is the best app for you. Available on iTunes, Android, Samsung, and most other app stores. Just search Inception Radio Network. With the app you can listen live, check out podcasts of recent and past shows, view our videos, see what shows are coming up, who the guests are, and, via the chat room, send live questions to those guests. You know it makes sense. Check your app store now. Inception Radio Network. I'll see you there.
Are you looking for a cure for boredom? Never worry. IRN's new interactive website introduces a number of ways to pass time while you listen to your favorite show. Choose anything from the IRN chat lounge, the game lounge, video lounge, or the mood lounge. These fun, exciting features let you chat in real time with fellow listeners, view live skywatches, play daily posted online games, or pick a show based on topic. The choices are endless. Use your time wisely, keeping it all on IRN.
Hello, everyone. Lorien Fenton here, host of the California MUFON Radio Show, asking if you'd like special access to exclusive and amazing information about UFOs, the paranormal, and all things unexplained. If you're nodding yes, then join IRN's Insider Club. As an Insider Club member, you'll get an all-access pass to premier Inception Radio Network content for only $4.99 a month. This includes live UFO and paranormal conferences, live streaming UFO skywatches, exclusive IRN radio and TV productions, and of course, paying radio with MJ and Ken Storch. So don't wait any longer. Visit InceptionRadioNetwork.com and click on Member Login to join IRN's Insider Club and get your VIP access today.
Hello, I'm Pat Usford, inviting you to tune in to Epic Voyages every Monday evening at 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern, right here on Inception Radio Network. To find out more about Epic and how you can become a member, visit epicvoyagers.com.
EPIC is Extraordinary Phenomena Investigations Council, the forum for scholars, experts, and those fascinated by and involved in the study of ancient civilizations, conspiracies, cryptozoology, ETs, and UFOs, fringe science, the paranormal, and all manner of extraordinary phenomena. Please join EPIC as we examine the mysteries of the world and beyond on epicvoyagers.com. And for updates on the upcoming interactive video presentations, the latest news and discussion on the EPIC forums, as well as research, investigations, and membership opportunities. Epic Voyages program schedule is on the Inception Radio Network. Thank you for joining us.
Howdy, this is Joe Mars. I'm inviting you to tune in to Epic Voyages, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern, Monday nights, right here on Inception Radio Network. To find out more about Epic and how you can become a member, visit epicvoyagers.com. That's epicvoyagers.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to the California MUFON Radio Show here on Inception Radio Network. We're live at International UFO Congress. I wish you guys were all here with me, and I want to thank Paul. And there were two other people that I didn't get their names, but there were a couple people that got me gas money to get out here. And I want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart for doing that for me. You were very sweet. Without you, I wouldn't even be here right now, honest to God. If it wasn't for Javi, pitching in and getting me a Motel 6 and taking care of me, man, he's been wonderful. So I just have a lot of people to thank, and I just want you all to know I really appreciate it. And I hope you're getting something good out of what everybody says here today. I'm sure you are. There's a lot of great information coming out. And I'll be here tomorrow, 1 o'clock to 5 p.m. Arizona time, which is about, I think it's noon to 4 Pacific and 3 to 7 Eastern, if I got it straight in my head at this point. But I'll be here live tomorrow, Friday, and part of Saturday afternoon as well. So I just want you all to know that. So tune in at IRN. I don't know what kind of feed they're going to put me on. We haven't even talked about it, but they'll get me in there somehow. So there we go. And I know Revolution Radio is working on it as well. So we'll all be here for you. Okay, my next guest here in the hot seat is Janet Lessin, and she's written, first of all, Janet Lessin, I don't know what to say. Janet was one of the first people I met in the UFO community, and she welcomed me with open arms, and she has always been just loving and amazing to me. And her husband, Sasha, is the most brilliant guy when it comes to the Anunnaki that I've ever met in my entire life, and I'm just sad he's asleep, but he'll be with us probably tomorrow and doing a whole half hour on the Anunnaki and their sex life, which is just absolutely amazing. It's like, he's the only guy I know who has it down to an art form. He's great at it. So anyhow, he's wonderful, but he'll be here later. But for right now, we're celebrating Janet, and we're celebrating the fact that she's got her second book out now. Sasha's had two. You're on one.
Well, we co-author a lot of it and co-create. So, we're one entity, with a sachet, like Brangelina.
The sachets?
Yeah, the sachet, like Brangelina.
my God. Only in our community would that happen.
Yeah,
I'm
it just
surprised.
came up now. I didn't think of it before.
That's great.
But the book I did that was my first solo effort in this genre. I've had other books on other fields, Tantra and everything like that, but this, I went into the UFO field. And I have been an experiencer all my life. An experiencer is someone that's had contact. We don't like to be called abductees anymore. And contactees, we like to be called experiencers. And we've, as a field, we've broadened our, what it is, our parameters of what an experiencer is. So paranormal, near-death experiences, UFOs,
well, we've
of
become,
course.
I think basically what we are is we're the conscious connection between any type of other entities that are out there, whether they run the gamut from being light beings of love all the way to the horrible satanistic type of reptilian characters. We've got it all. We've got everything.
Part of the continuum.
Yeah, it is. And we're the people on this planet that deal with their communication to the rest of the people on the planet. I think that everybody in this building is probably in communication in some way, shape, or form with them, or they wouldn't be here. That's the bottom line.
Right.
So I think our next step in the evolution of these conferences is what Free's doing right now. And we're going to talk about Free in the next few days. I'll get Ray Hernandez back on here, but he was on IRN last week with me.
Right, and I've had him on the
and
week
you've had him
before,
on your show.
and
Exactly.
other shows.
So, and he's a wonderful guy, and they're putting Free together, and basically we're trying to become more mainstream and data-driven so that the regular community out there can understand what it is we go through by reading reports about it. Just like you go, if you have a law firm and you get reports from different, think tanks about, how this law is being passed and what kind of impact it has on a social community. We're doing the same thing out there with Free and other organizations that are cropping up that are saying to the regular public, even in the Huffington Post and everything else, I'm doing great. I'm doing a live broadcast right now. You want to be part of it? Have a seat.
We got another one.
We have another one.
Woo.
Yeah. So anyhow,
well, I wanted to add to that.
Yeah.
We're also doing, radio shows. Free's got a radio show
Exactly.
coming. We're going to do more on Revolution and all the other networks that we have going here. And we're videotaping people. So if you want to be videotaped, we can Skype to Skype. Basically, we're coming out of the closet. We're falling with the LGBTP community.
We are.
For polyamory. We're looking at those who have blazed this trail before us, and we can learn a lot.
Exactly.
And so now we have gay marriages, and now
what we're lucky in this community, though, I was very much, as growing up as a professional dancer, I was very entrenched in the gay and lesbian community because, number one, I danced with all gay men, and a lot of the women were lesbian. And then I ended up being a social secretary, turning into a person that completely managed one of the top lesbians in the political scene in San Francisco. So I would go to a party. I was the only straight girl at these parties, and let me tell you, that was an eye-opener, folks. And I saw the hatred and the fear and the pain that these women had gone through by coming out of the closet as lesbian women. And I can imagine that the men's side of it is equally as bad. And I had dancer buddies and a partner that couldn't even tell his family he was gay, but they figured it out and then they threw him out of the family, basically. I mean, they never talked to him again. I mean, but we are lucky. And then the reason I bring that all up is because as a community, the UFO community, we are actually able to transcend all the things that they've had to go through as a society. And our society is becoming more mainstream and more accepted. And we're lucky that way. We don't have to go through the pain, that they had to go through to get to where they're at now.
There's still some birth pangs, and that's what.
Well, there is. There is.
October 1st is the. I put my
October 1st
I don't know the name.
It's International Free Day.
Well, no, it's Experiencer Liberation Day.
Yeah, that's it. Experiencer
we have a button
Liberation.
at the table, and I forgot the name.
Well,
of it.
we'll talk about. We're going to get Free. We'll get Ray over here. We'll
Right.
get him on the radio show talking about it. But Free is a prime example, like Jim's starting UFO University, which
Right,
he's
and I
going to
wanna
go
be
around.
part of that, so
Oh, good,
next
good.
is
Yeah,
with
we'll
him,
talk
yeah.
about that. But yeah, UFO University is going to get out there and they're going to go to like schools, they're going to go to places, they're going to go to universities and colleges. We're actually going to get into the academic level on that. So it's going to be quite interesting. And yeah. I mean, I was in the ground floor. Jim and I met at a restaurant and scratched it all out on a napkin one day, and we know it's going to happen. So.
Well, Zechariah Sitchin asked my husband, Dr. Lesson, before he passed, to start a educational program for the Sitchin material.
Oh, we can have
all
a
the
track
Anunnaki,
for that.
For a track on that. And
Yes.
my husband was an anthropologist.
We're looking for tracks.
And
Yeah.
So
we'll do that. That'll be fun. But let's go back to
the
you.
free
No,
stuff.
let's go back to you.
me.
Forget free.
So
We'll do free later.
What I did was, because we're going to be videotaping people, was I decided to come out of the closet on February 6th of this year, which was my 61st birthday.
Yay.
And Alfred Weber we were going to have an interview for a year now. And finally it happened. Everything fell into place. It was my birthday. Now, people, your birthday month is very magical.
It
You
should
gotta
be.
own it and take it and just experience your birthday month, because you are at a high energy period in your life, every birthday month, that you can create and manifest. So I decided this is what I'm going to do. I just laid it all out there. It's on YouTube. Google Alfred Weber and Janet Kira Lesson.
And Lesson is spelled Lessin, correct?
On YouTube, and no holds barred. I've been telling my story for the past couple years now. I've been in the closet most of my life because of all the criticism and ridicule and losing
But you're
friends.
not getting that anymore now.
Because
you found your family.
I have this family now.
Yes, you
And there's
do.
still people
Yes.
that, I came out, I did this YouTube. You can go on there. The comments are about 50%. She's a crazy woman. Where does she make up this shit?
Yeah. We can't
the
say
other
that
half-
word on the radio.
stuff. And the other half is, I'm so glad you did that.
Yeah.
So what and I was almost like channeling, but I don't really channel. It was just like a flow of consciousness.
Yeah.
And I said that the veil has come down, which is the name of my book, Dance of the Soul, Pierce the Veil. The quarantine is over. Those
Okay, say the name of the book one more time.
Dance of the Souls. Book 1 is Pierce the Veil.
Great.
Which is, we all come into physicality and we go through the veil of forgetfulness. But recovering who you are as an eternal being is part of the process. And we all are multidimensional eternal beings having many experiences on many planets and many dimensions. And you can access that and recover it through meditation, yoga. I use Tantra. Some people use entheogens. Whatever you do, some kind of high spiritual path, and you can remember who you are as an eternal being. And when you do that, you wake up, you come out of the matrix, you access the morphogenetic field, and you can shift and create it. And that's what we're doing here. We're all becoming conscious. And I heard someone say, you can't talk about consciousness here. And it's like, yes, we need to do these conferences where we talk
that's what
about
this is about.
consciousness, because that's what the extraterrestrials have been saying. Wake up, wake up, wake up, become conscious down in this matrix.
And
We're
if you,
here.
Yeah, and
So
I'm just going to
important.
interject one thing. One of the focuses for UFO Con this year, if you look at the top line on it, the tagline to my conference is consciousness, technology, and a little bit of skepticism all thrown into one. Because I really think consciousness now is where we're going with these conferences.
Yes.
And I think that the people putting them on are wonderful people and they're doing the right thing at many levels. But I think we really need to get them to understand that the experiencers are a huge part of this thing now. And
We
they're really
see
taking
far
over.
because we stand upon the shoulders of the giants who have come before us. We
True.
are a short-lived species, and so our society exists because of our ancestors. And that's what the Native Americans.
I got to ask you something.
Yes.
I'm not trying to change the subject.
No, you can do whatever.
But I saw on the cover of Time magazine about that baby who's going to have 3 different DNAs.
Yes.
And it's going to live to like 124, they said, or 125.
Okay.
Because of the fact that the 3-strand DNA, or whatever they're doing to it, is going to fix all the genetic problems that are inherent within the DNA. And that's just the quick synopsis of somebody who's had one too many tonight. So you guys got to read the article in Time magazine to get this real scoop. But I was just fascinated because I got to thinking this ties into what Asa Lauria Liberales told me back in 2011, is that the Greys and the other aliens that were dealing with us put a genetic lock
on our DNA so that we could not ascend to the next level of energy, morphic energy that we need to be to communicate with them on a free basis.
Well, that might be the Anunnaki have put that. What do you call it?
It's an energetic lock. I you know, what do I know?
Basically, because there were so many of us and so few of them, and they had to. First of all, they realized that they could kill. The Anunnaki they got harmed. They got hurt. They were bleeding during some of the battles, and then the humans are going, well, yeah, now we can kill them. So they had to dummy us down, shorten our life expectancy, have the priesthood, have intermediaries, and prevent.
Start the first mind control, in other words.
Yes, and which has been, by the way, religion,
yeah, just say that word.
I mean, this is in Fox News, and so it's all mind control, propaganda. So anyway, that is
the
true.
reason I brought that up is because you know, 3-strand DNA. We are genetically now trying to undo what has been done to us in the past by other species, possibly, which is kind of interesting.
And my friend Dr. Aubrey de Grey, who's the head of the Human Genome Project and the Methuselah Project, says that right now we have discovered how to enhance our life expectancy to 1,000.
Oh my God.
1,000. And he doesn't know anything about us in the UFO field. He's a traditional researcher, and he's a friend of mine. And he says, and at that point, we're going to reach escape velocity, and we're going to be basically physically immortal. Now, the Anunnaki some of them are 450,000 years ago they came here. We don't know how old they were when they decided to come here. So they probably are living in the millions of years, and they are our ancestors, and we are genetically related to them, and that is our potential. And that's what this is about. So we are being murdered. 100,000 people a year die. That otherwise, if we have these technologies out here and the cures for diseases and this longevity gene turned on, would be alive. And then people say, well, what if we all lived? We'd have too many people. No, we have technologies and we can get to the stars, and we're meant to go forth and multiply, but we can't go forth and just destroy planets. No, we've got to become conscious and aware.
Wouldn't that be the first thing we do?
Civilization. No, we're not. I am not a violent person.
Yeah, well, you would be doing that, dear. I know that.
Well,
but
we're owning your own non-violent person. They're always saying, humanity's violent. Well, don't speak about me. You know,
there you go.
I do kill ants, but you know,
kill ants. Yeah, ants gotta go.
Question?
Well,
no, I was just going to make a statement. The longer you live means that you're going to live with the mess that you create, so you're going to create less of the mess.
Right.
Because if you're
That's absolutely true.
If you're short-lived, you don't care what you do because you're out of here.
We're out of here, and so that'll all shift, and the consciousness will shift, and we're going to be responsible for our mess.
Owners, not renters.
We'll be owners, not renters.
We won't have to worry about leaving a bad planet for our kids because we'll be the kids. So we'll have to fix it now. We can't let they'll deal with it later.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be the later. So
So I'm a contactee since the crib, and you can watch my YouTube. We'll talk about it more.
Yeah, we got a lot more to do.
And
we've got Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, so we got lots of time.
We do.
So
all
we'll
right.
be good.
I'm
we'll
off
be
the
great.
hot seat.
You're
Okay.
out of the hot seat. Okay,
Thank you,
Len,
Len.
you're next.
Thank you, everybody, for listening to me.
Yeah, thanks, IRN, for having us. This is so much fun.
That's okay. I'm
Okay, we're passing drinks around, folks. Give us another second here. We'll be fine. We're taking our time. Hello.
Come on in. Have a seat.
So now, sitting in the hot seat next to me is Len Kasten, and Len Kasten is going to be a presenter at UFOCon 2015 this year. You guys, it's happening in about a month, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
I can't believe how quick it's coming, but Len's going to be there, and he's going to talk a bit about Planet Serpo. He's going to talk about all kinds of really cool stuff. What do you want to talk about in the next, 10 minutes?
Well, I'd like to continue a little bit with what Janet was just saying,
Sure.
because there is a connection with what I'm doing. The subject of consciousness is taking over for a good reason, because the only way we're going to get our planet back, which we don't have right now, is through expansion of consciousness. We don't own it right now,
Absolutely.
and we're being manipulated tremendously. Being brainwashed, we're being mind controlled, all those things. The only way we're going to get it back
and start to colonize other planets responsibly, as in Star Trek and so forth, is if we expand our consciousness. So that's the game now. No
Yeah.
question about it.
But Lynn, how about we just fix here first?
Well, fix here, we can't do it while we're mind controlled.
Well, I know that. You
So-
and I are on the same page on that, because you know that I go to the dark side and I pull people out. That's what I
So
do.
we're listening to the news at night, we're being mind controlled, propagandized, we're into SpongeBob. What is it? SpongeBob. That's the number one movie. That's the number one movie in America. Come on, what is this all about here?
I know. It's scary. It's
scary.
Shades of Grey, yeah. Sex,
Shades of Grey is
sex
even
and
worse.
SpongeBob. I know. We really run the gamut. We go from sex
They've got us.
to little amoebas.
They've dumbed us down to the point where it's ridiculous.
It is. I mean,
And it's
I
a place-
can't argue
it's
with you
at
about
places
any of
like
this.
this where we start to realize it.
Yeah, it's
Conferences
true.
like this.
Now, what can we tell folks, though? I mean, like, I threw away my TV. I had a funeral. I don't know if all of you know this, but back in 1978 or something like that, I was living in an apartment in Northwest Portland, and I had a funeral for my television. We all dressed up in black. We came, we had a big party. We took the TV, and I prearranged it with the landlord to throw it in a dumpster out in the back off of, like, the roof of the building, and we carried it up in a stretcher. We couldn't find a coffin, so we got a stretcher instead, and we ceremoniously took it up to the top of the building and threw it off. And I didn't watch TV for almost 15 years after that. The only thing that sucked me back into television was Northern Exposure, and I love it to this day. And I learned so much from Northern Exposure because I hadn't watched TV for forever. But when Northern Exposure came on, and I'll never forget it, there was 2 episodes that changed the way I thought about reality and about how we could change things. And that was the baseball one, Casey at the bat, and the other one was when they lit up the whole town with the Christmas lights in the middle of summer or something. They did a celebration for their community and brought them together over, like, lights. But it wasn't about the lights, it was about bringing the community together. And something that no one else did, it was just in their little town to make them all, one. And we don't do that anymore. There's so many, this celebration here, this is really a celebration of us all getting together and sharing and having our energies connect with each other. And I tell everybody all the time, I said, you guys are my family. I have a loving family at home, but I call my dad and I love him to pieces and everything's great. But is that Gordon Gianninotto?
That's right.
No, you are killing me. I can't believe you're here, sweetie. How are you
I had a listener
doing?
that gave me this as a gift.
Oh my God, that is so amazing. Anyhow, my point to all that was we're here as a community, but that doesn't mean just because we're sitting here at this conference that you guys out there listening to my radio show, and you guys know how passionate I am about this, that we all get together, we all are of like mind, we share, we talk about things, we connect, we get rid of the fear. The fear is the problem. You have to be able to walk up to, hey, I have a guy in the bus. Yeah, I'm going to let Len in just a second. But the bottom line is we had a bus guy that was walking out of a room tonight, and he's talking to his buddy, and he goes, yeah, I never told you about the time I saw the UFO. And I turned around and I said, you got to tell everybody about that. You got to tell the whole kitchen staff. He goes, I might do that now that you guys are all here. And I was like, oh, cool. So, I mean, the point is we all have to do that. We all have to break out of our shell. We have to talk about our experiences. And in a few minutes, we're going to have Gordon Gianninotto on, and he's going to talk a bit about Janet, his wife, and his experiences that he's had. And it's just amazing, folks. You've got to talk about them all the time. Anyhow, back to Len. Len, tell us a bit more about consciousness and your view on it, what we can do to change things.
Well, we're being manipulated all the way right now by various races, most of all the reptilian race. They put us into World War II. They followed up by inculcating our intelligence people with the German influence, the Nazi influence, which we still haven't gotten rid of. So all of that needs to be overcome, and the only way we can overcome that is by expansion of consciousness, because that's the name of the game now. That's the name of the game now.
How do you help people get to the next level with consciousness?
Well, the last book I wrote on Serpo hopefully will let people know that we are dealing with an extraterrestrial race on diplomatic basis.
Yeah.
We have actually achieved a diplomatic relationship with a civilization that's 39 light years away. They are now our friends.
Are they helping us?
They come back, yes.
Oh my God,
But
that's
where
wonderful.
is their help going?
Well, that's what I want to know.
It's going to the military.
No,
Yeah,
no. Then
yeah,
they're not really helping us.
Well,
They're helping them.
The military runs the show here.
Yeah. How did they get in cahoots with the military? That's not a good thing.
It was our government that made the arrangement with
Oh,
them.
dear.
We sent 12 people there to live for 13 years.
Exactly.
And all that information that they accumulated, the knowledge, the science, all of that came back with our people.
Yeah.
We sent 12 and 7 came back loaded with tremendous information about biotechnology, about all kinds of interesting technology that free energy, anti-gravity, all of that.
Mhm.
They have already, that civilization has journeyed throughout the galaxy. Just imagine what they have taught or can teach us or have taught us already. And yet it's not coming down to us, is it?
No, it's not. You know,
So it
that
needs
scares
to.
me,
It
though.
needs to. It needs to. And we have to open these doors and we have to let the fresh air in and we have to learn. And that's how our consciousness will expand.
God, that's wild. You know,
That's how
I
it has
just.
to happen.
But how are we going to get rid of these entities within the military that are actually in control?
Well,
I mean, what are they doing? You should be talking to these guys from Planet Serpo, not the military. Why did they pick you?
they picked the military because they had to have a diplomatic relationship with a organization that represents our country, and they
don't represent the people. They represent themselves.
What are they going to go to a town hall meeting? I mean, what are they going to do?
Well, they could stop at Joanne's house or my house and your house. That's what they should be doing.
They do, though. They are.
They are. That's true. They do. They stop at a lot of people's places, but I don't see anything happening where we're getting an exchange going.
We're getting people abducted by the millions, getting brainwashed by the millions. They're creating a hybrid race.
Do you think it's still going on, though?
Oh, yeah. Part gray, part human. Which souls do you think are going to inhabit those hybrid bodies? Human souls? I don't think so.
Yeah, that's true.
So what does that tell you?
Well.
So we have a lot of things to work on.
Okay.
And it starts with...
So you're a pragmatic person. You're looking at the dark side, and you're going to pull us into the light, right?
No, I'm just... Well, what I'm saying is that what a lot of people are saying, and you said earlier,
yeah,
it's about consciousness.
it is. It's all about that.
And what is
That's really
consciousness?
what it is.
Consciousness is awareness, right?
It is. Yeah. And you know what? If we could get that whole dark side just out of our whole holographic mindset, it would all disappear in a heartbeat.
Well, it wouldn't be that
But-
easy, I'm afraid.
Really?
Yeah, I'm afraid not, yeah.
Oh God, I'm trying to be hopeful.
Well,
John.
I wish
I'm
it
really
were that,
trying to be hopeful.
I wish it were that easy,
Yeah.
but we're dealing with thousands of years of control.
It's true. We are in the thick of it.
And we've had brutal wars,
Yep.
which is kind of stupid, really. Really, they're stupid
It is.
wars.
And the one they're creating right now is beyond stupid. It doesn't make any sense at all.
The,
This
the
ISIS thing.
brutality that emerged in World War II was beyond anything this planet has ever seen. The Japanese invasion of China, the horrors that took
Yeah.
place there.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
The Nazis. So we have a long way to go here.
We do.
We do.
We do.
And that's all I'm saying. That's my
Okay.
basic message tonight.
Well, you are a breath of, I want to say, unfresh air, but
I'm sorry.
But it's
I'm
good
sorry
air,
if I've
nonetheless.
depressed everybody.
It's okay. It's all right. We still love you. We love you for telling us the truth and
good,
kind of waking us up and giving us the dirty diaper and saying you got to change it, man. You know. And will you come back and be interviewed over this next 3 days?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, next hot
will.
seat.
I have a question.
Question for Lynn.
I want to know if you raise your consciousness and become aware of these negative entities, okay? How can you sort of get rid of them?
That gets rid of them.
That gets rid of them.
Yeah,
Just awareness.
just awareness.
Just awareness.
So, so basically, even though it's sort of like going, look at the pothole so nobody steps in it.
Yeah, I love that analogy. Do you know the whole story with that? I walked down the street one day. This is an old Chinese fable. I walked down the street and there's a pothole and I fell in. The next day I walked down the street. I remember the pothole was there, but I still fell in. The third day I walked down the street. I finally walked around the pothole, but there was another pothole on the other side and I didn't see it and I fell in. So then I had to realize that there were potholes everywhere and I had to keep my eyes open.
The basic method would be, once you've raised your consciousness, they're afraid of you. They can't do it. They can't touch you anymore.
Yeah.
You've reached the point where you're above it, and that's it.
That's it. You're outing them basically.
You don't have to do anything else.
There's nothing. Yeah.
That's my opinion.
And it works, and I can attest to that. It does work, and I'm not going to go into it all tonight, but it does work.
Okay, then literally, this is like the number one message we need to get across.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you on that, and that's what a lot of people on the planet right now are trying to get out there.
What he's saying, he's empowering them. When you're afraid, you're empowering them.
Oh, yeah.
And so when you become strong,
Yeah.
and you said you have no fear, now
That's it.
they leave you alone. They say,
That's right.
We can't scare this person anymore. Let's
That's
move
right.
on to the next person that we can scare.
It's
That's
even
right.
more than
That's
that.
right.
We have co-created this paradigm of light and dark, and you become aware of the game. And so when you become conscious, you just are saying, I'm not playing victim to your predator anymore.
Exactly.
And so you're conscious of the game.
Right.
Okay,
That's why.
25 minutes.
That's why.
25 minutes left.
That's
Okay,
why I
good.
just want to say that this lovey-dovey feeling that you say you have with anything that's coming from above, that's not. You've got to be more discriminating than that.
Well, you do, because they can make you think it's all lovey-dovey.
They can make you think that they're here to help you, but they're not. And we're dealing with very clever people or entities, and you've got to be clever too.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, okay, you're out of the hot seat for
Okay,
now,
all
but
right.
I'm putting you back in it tomorrow.
Okay.
Gordon's here. Gordon has to get to sleep, so we're going to get him on here.
Gordon Gianni Noto is my next guest. He is a talk show host of The Whole Agenda over at Revolution Radio, and I have known Gordon by Skype now for about...
I've been on your show, and I've been on Janet Lesson's show.
He's been on everybody's show, and he is
Now I
absolutely
got my own
phenomenal.
show.
And he's got his own show now. And let's see, we got to pull you up a little bit so you can talk into the microphone.
Fiercely, and
Fiercely
everyone will
into
hear
the
me.
dark hole. Fiercely and loudly. It's so good to meet you. In person, finally.
Yeah, I know.
God, after all this time,
Well,
it's
I
great.
mean, Janet and I
You're
live
gonna
in-
love this. I got on the cell phone today, and Javi's in the car with me, and I called Robert Pepino, and he called me back, but I haven't got his message yet. But I called him to see how he's doing. Have you talked to him since you got to Arizona?
Not since, no, before.
Okay, is he in
Smile.
town?
She's going to take a picture of us.
Is he in town right now?
Yeah, he is. He's taking care of his father. who had a
Yeah,
stroke.
yeah. I'm gonna stop by and see him on the way home. So yeah, I'll bring your love.
Well,
with me.
I asked him. I'm doing my show a Friday night at 10 o'clock live from the hotel too.
Oh, good.
And I asked Robert to co-host it with me in person because I took the show over from Robert Pepino.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
So I called him up and I said, I'm going to be here. Would you come down and do the show with me? So
Is he
we'll
gonna
see.
be here?
I hope he is. Yeah,
Oh,
I've
good,
never met him
because
in person.
You've
see.
never met Robert in
No,
person?
no.
Oh
So
my
this is-
God.
See, I
Okay.
had a person that listened to me on Coast to Coast in 2010 and was rather well off. And he goes, man, I've got to support people that I believe in. And the minute I heard you, I knew that. And so he gave this trip to my wife and I. To
Janet's
me.
here?
Yeah, Janet's here.
Oh,
She's
I'm
upstairs
so
asleep.
glad to
Yeah,
hear that.
yeah. And so he gave us the round trip airfare from Maine and the hotel room in the conference.
Wow,
Oh my God,
what
that's
a
so
nice
awesome.
guy. That is
Yeah.
absolutely amazing. Well, okay, now I've got you in the hot seat. You know what
Yes.
that means? That
No,
means
I
you-
got to comment on the previous guest,
Oh,
and I
okay,
have to
here we
say,
go. I don't have to do anything
when
for the
you-
next 10 minutes.
No, when you just wind up and let me go. When you hear people talk about fear, the thing you should remember is that fear is F-E-A-R, forgetting everything's all right. And it's absolutely true that the only way they can control you is through making you afraid and fearful. And as long as you realize that you are a creator in training, you have independent powers, you have the capability, and you should renounce all forms of domination and control. because each one of us came from the Creator. We have a unique contribution to make to life that no one else can make. No one has your understanding, your sense of humor, your lessons that you've learned through bad experiences, and your joys and your skills and your talents. And so each one of us has a unique quality and a unique addition they can make to life that no one else, anywhere on any other planet doing anything, can ever make that you can make. And so that's an obligation that you have with yourself, is to figure out what skill, what ability, what can you do to add to everyone else's life. And as long as you're thinking and living by the golden rule and thinking of other people first, you know, you don't have to be a saint. I mean, just even 51% means the majority of your time, you're empathetic, you're caring, and you're loving. If you're doing that, then there's no selfish extraterrestrial that will even try and deal with you, because they know that they will get nowhere. And it's the same way with the unselfish extraterrestrials. They're not going to deal with a selfish person. And a lot of times, people who have bad experiences, if the shoe were on the other foot, they'd be doing the same thing. That's why the selfish ETs pick on them. So that's all I got to say.
Well, man, that's
else.
great. No, I want to know, how are the ETs happening at the house? Are they still showing up?
Oh yeah.
Oh, we got to pull this forward. Okay. The microphone is back in there.
I'm just afraid the computer was going to fall off the
desk.
No,
it's good. It's good. We're all right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just
well, you know what you're doing.
Yeah, I'm watching this to make sure that we're talking loud enough and that it's picking up. It's an array mic, so hopefully it's picking up at least 1.5 feet. So.
Well, I think it's doing okay.
I think it's doing good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now, we have all kinds of experiences. Janet just had a dream the other night that she was speaking before large groups of people, talking about the meaning of life. I said, well, that's what you can't wait to do, is come here to the conference and talk about the experiencer groups. And like I say, if you only have 5 more minutes to live, if you make sure it's helping somebody else with your last breath, then you have made the right decision. Because it's like the average person lives 1,000 lifetimes, and it's like a soap opera, and they just keep going through the same thing over and over and over again. And it's like a bad Jack Nicholson movie, and all of a sudden you wake up one day and you go, is this all there is? And then you realize right in front of you is this secret door, and you open it, and there's a fork in the road, and the fork is, you organize, you don't just take things randomly and a little bit nice here, and then on another day you step on somebody and you think, well, nobody will ever know what I did. You know, people who are selfish walk through a life, even in the sunlight, even out on the street in the sun, they're walking through a darkness of a prison of their own creation from their conscience. And so when you think that, well, you got away with stepping on somebody, no, you didn't. And your karma is going to have to work it out, because it's a distortion that it entraps you, and you're not free to leave unless you balance it. So everything you do is either creating a distortion that binds you here, and so at some point after 1,000 lifetimes, the average person goes, is this all there is? Is there anything more? And then they discover that, wow, there's a fork in the road. I could organize not just part of my intentions, but all of my intentions and my behavior around being totally selfish and, become an evil person. And 10% of the population ultimately will decide that.
And especially the ones that get handed the $1 million to say, hey, come to the dark side.
Oh, yeah. And they think,
I have days where I wish somebody do that to me. Like, no offers coming my way.
Like, I have 5 cats, and just to board them, well, then they go, well, 3 of them didn't have shots, and then you got the boarding fees. And so even when I come back from here for a free trip, I've got to come up with $700 to pay
I know.
The
it used to
vet
cost
boarding
me
house.
$500 to get my cats dealt with every time I left. I know.
So, it's
Jerry
not...
Seinfeld said that aliens, if they looked down and saw that you're following a dog and with a poop scooper, they would think that you're the alien and you're the...
you're the pet.
You're the minion. You're the minion. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Tell me about it.
Exactly.
Well,
but I'm really glad to be here. Janet and I we've been together 25 years, and this is the 24th year. we wanted to go to the first one and on every other one since, but we've never had the money to do that.
I'm so glad you're here. I
And,
really am. And I want you and
so
Janet
now-
to come, and I'm doing live feed to Revolution Radio and
Oh.
IRN tomorrow, both networks.
Okay.
And Friday and Saturday as well. So you
Cool.
guys come down. We're doing 25-minute segments.
Neat.
Sign up for a segment. I want Janet to have her own segment
Yep.
too. And we'll talk a lot more.
So
and a
I'll
lot
just
about
I'll
this
just
stuff.
give an example
Yeah.
of how.
we've got to get some more people in. So I'm gonna have to push you out of the hot
Well,
seat.
it's okay
I'll
because
roll
I'm
you
going to do
out.
my own show.
And
I'll be doing my show on Friday at 10.
Friday?
Right,
Is
the
that
whole
okay?
agenda Friday
Yeah.
at 10.
Friday at
Well,
10
I'm not sure
on
where I'm doing it, but this
Revolution
is a good
Radio.
spot, isn't it? This is a good
Yeah,
spot,
this is a
isn't it?
good spot. And
Hi. No, because I can't see.
okay, let's see. Oh, Sandy's here! Yay! Sandy made it! Yay! Okay, well, I'm doing a live show right now, so it's okay. It's okay. Ava, you're next in the hot seat. I'll tell you what. We'll give Gordon a minute. Why don't Janet? Can you move over and I will move the computer? Yeah, I'm just going to move the computer and give Gordon a chance to just sit there. Okay. Whoa! What have I done? I've knocked over a tree. We're all good. Okay. Now I don't know you, but I'm glad to meet you. I saw you sitting in the corner, and I said to myself, that lady has something to tell us that's very important. So, what is it that I'm picking up on here? Have you been in contact with some alien type of, or I say alien, I shouldn't say that because people crossing the border in Mexico, and I really should be saying
not in Arizona.
extraterrestrial life, extraterrestrial life, or other dimensional beings, or something like that. So,
Well, my whole lifetime I've had experiences that you could say they're paranormal, but I have never. I've had beings next to me. I've seen beings on the road when I was driving through the desert one time, and I just woke up, and my husband was sitting. My ex was.
Wait a minute, you
sleeping,
saw
and
beings on the side of the road.
I
Now,
saw people in the road.
people in the road.
Yeah.
Now, were they ghostly figures, or were they
They
actually
were like silhouettes, and I thought I fell asleep while I was
gotta
driving.
lean
This was in the
forward.
desert in California, driving from San Diego back to Phoenix. This was
Okay.
years ago. What I mainly wanted to talk about was in 2011, I had my first real provable witnessed UFO sighting.
Oh, wonderful.
And it was I call it a CE2 maybe, because it was within 20 feet of where I was. I live up in Payson, northeast of Payson, in Whispering Pines, which is a little community on the East Verde River. And this was New Year's Eve, 2011. And I was sitting with my back to a row of windows that look out over the river. My friend who owned the house was on the other side of the room. All of a sudden, he looked out the window. It was dark. He ran outside. I turned around, and there was a bar of white light that didn't reflect any light on anything.
Right.
It was its own light, and it looked like a capsule. In front of it were 5 bright lights that looked almost like halogen headlights, but they were completely separate from the big one. In the back of it were 4 white lights of the same kind. This was 20 feet away.
Wow.
I watched it for a few
How big were
seconds.
they? Basketball or bigger? Or?
The capsule must have been about 30 feet long.
Wow.
So I
That's
would
huge.
say the lights were
How far off the
baseball
ground?
size.
Oh, baseball size?
It was right at the level of where his backyard drops down onto the river.
Oh,
So
my
it
God.
was at eye level.
Oh my God, that's
And
low.
he was a witness. There was another gal in the room who was. My neighbor across the road, who has a 3-story house, called me the next day. She's real sensitive. She said, "Did you see the white light go up the river last night?" And I said, "Yeah." The next day in the Phoenix paper, which is about 90 miles from Payson, and I lived in the Phoenix area for a long time, but they reported that people had seen a bright white light and then some green lights flying around. There were probably comets.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
and I
then they
live
laugh.
along the river. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's for sure. Well,
But-
that's fascinating. Did you get a sense of anything coming from the light? Did it talk to you? Did you get any
I
feelings?
got a sense of a lot of peace and calm and a good feeling.
Oh, that's good.
And when we came back in the house, we didn't tell anybody anything. Not because we were
Yeah.
afraid to, but we just had a feeling that we shouldn't tell.
Well, see, now that's the huge issue in the whole community, and I talk about this on all my shows. You are talking about the classic sighting experience where people for 20 years don't talk about it with each other, and then one day they wake up and they go, God, that was my buddy from high school. I'm going to call him. And they call each other and they go, yeah, do you remember that thing that happened 20 years ago? And the guy goes, yeah, but I never wanted to talk about it. He goes, I didn't either.
Mm-hmm.
And then they basically hang up on each other, but they just acknowledge that they actually had experienced it together, but they never talk about it with anybody else. And 20 years has already gone by. So what's that? And it goes back to that whole thing, the consciousness that Len was just talking about, and the mind control, and how they manipulate what we remember, how we remember it, why we remember it, and who we remember it with. It's just mind-boggling to me. And what's extraordinary is that the people in the contact community, you have the ability right now to talk about it with other people around you. How long ago did this happen?
2011, December 31st.
Okay, so what's happened, I believe, since about 2010, 2009, there's been a whole thing where people are able to talk about these things that previously from the 40s all the way up to about 2000 and something were unable to actually get out there. Something's breaking down in their ability to control us, and I think it goes back to the whole fear thing that Len was talking about. If you aren't afraid, and Gordon, if you're not afraid and you let it become something that just happened to you instead of something that's happening to you, then you can get it out there and it becomes reality. And it becomes reality for our group of people and all the people listening to this radio show right now. So I want to thank you for sharing that. Is there any more to the story besides the sighting, or is there more that goes on? Does it progress? Does it happen again?
Not that, but my whole life, and I was an RN for 45 years. I worked in an operating room, and I think I was drawn to that. I don't know why, but my whole life I've had different experiences, and a lot of them are more paranormal than UFO, but I started getting interested in UFOs when I was in 9th grade, and this was in the early 50s. Mm-hmm. My grandmother told me she saw a UFO over our backyard when I was a baby, and I was there. Mm-hmm. And she was an old German woman. They don't talk much about what they see or what they do.
Yeah, back then they didn't, did they?
No.
Yeah.
I've had things move in my house.
Oh, they just get up and move?
Yeah, they move little by little.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean?
I know what you're talking about.
It sounds like I'm off the whack job. But
But see, you know what? And you're sitting here and you're talking about this, and that is an amazing thing, because right now you're just one of many people at this conference, and you sat here and you're telling the world about this. And this is absolutely amazing. I want to thank you for this, because it's important that you've had things happen to you all your life. I was telling the group here, I was 53 years old before I even started realizing that all the wacky things that happened to me were normal and didn't happen to everybody else. And then from that point, everything progressed to where I am now. But it really took that realization, like, oh, I've got to talk to somebody about this, because if I don't talk to somebody about this, how am I ever going to know what's really going on out there? So you're at that stage now where you're starting to talk about all this, right?
Well, and there's one thing I wanted to say about fear, which is I've been afraid of things all my life. I was in a hands-on healing class at Scottsdale Community College. Mogulner was the woman who did it. She's done a lot. And we were doing different things, and I went to about 5 classes. All of a sudden, I got very paranoid, and I couldn't go on with it. And I don't know why. I just couldn't keep doing it. Okay. So something made me stop. I don't know what, but
you don't know what it is to this day yet why you quit?
No,
you'll get your answer.
I think it felt
you'll get it.
Ooey. Something was telling me not to do it anymore.
Yeah, well, they may have been telling you that. The only thing I'm seeing out of it is that it really wasn't doing that much good anyhow, and there's other things you could be doing, like Reiki or things like that are actually much more powerful. Yeah, that's what I'm picking up. But what do I know?
So this is just a layman's point of view.
Well,
of this
but
whole
no,
thing.
it's amazing. I want to thank you for telling us about
Sure.
this. That is so
You're
cool.
welcome.
I love that white light in the capsule. I mean, that's just phenomenal. What color were all the basketball-sized orbs around
They were
it?
very bright, almost, I would compare them to halogen headlights, but they looked like stars, but a whole lot brighter than stars.
Okay.
And they were separate. They were not connected to the big light.
Oh, okay.
Oh, and then my neighbor, by the time I got out there, he said it had just
No,
going up
hold
the
on. Just
river real fast.
I'm going to go overtime if it's okay with MJ, and I'm sure it probably is. We're going to go overtime, you guys. We're just going to go until everybody's done talking. So,
Okay.
yeah, so I hope that's okay, MJ. I can't see the Skype, and I don't know what's happening. If you want to cut in and tell me no, then do. But if you don't mind, we'll just keep going until we all shut up. Thank you, Ava. Is it Ava or Eva? Ava. Okay, I can barely see it, but thank you so much for that. I really appreciate your sharing. It's super important that people do that, and I hope that's a good example to everybody out there. Tomorrow when you wake up, if you've been a nurse for 45 years and you've had an extraordinary experience, go out and tell your neighbor about it over the fence. Just say, hey, water in the plants. Hey, by the way, I never told you this, but what do you think, How many people out there would say to you, wow, that is so cool. I thought I saw something one time too. And then you guys would strike up this whole conversation about stuff that's going on in your life, and that's super amazing. And I have with me here, Melinda Leslie's also going to talk here in just a second. I'll put her in the hot seat. And MJ, I can't see anything. I can hear the bubbles popping, but I can't see anything. So if you want to cut us off, go right ahead. If you want to record us further, I think we'll go till the bottom of the hour. I hope that's okay. Bubble me twice for yes and once for no. Oh, God. We'll see what happens. I think there's a show on after me, but hey, who knows? Let's see. Okay, so Melinda Leslie's sitting in the hot seat right now. And Melinda, how you been? I was just telling Melinda, I've been thinking about her for 2 weeks. Solid.
Yeah.
Every day I keep thinking, I got to call her.
Lorien be here. Will Lorien be here? And a couple different people had said yes, and then all of a sudden, Jocelyn, a friend of mine, was like, she calls me up in my room. I go up there just to get some flyers and stuff, and she's like, you got to come downstairs. There's some people doing a radio interview.
And you probably thought, oh, that's got to be Lorien. She's the only person I know.
didn't know. When I came down, I turned to Jocelyn. I said, you didn't tell me it was Lorien. But hi, everyone.
Melinda and I go way back, but back enough, I think.
Yeah.
We've had some extraordinary experiences together that I've been told about, but
I
I'm
think
not
it's like, 20 years packed into 8 or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it feels. It feels like a whole lifetime.
Yeah, man.
So there we go. So what's been happening to you lately?
Oh, God, so much. First off, last night I take out UFO sighting tours in Sedona, Arizona.
Right.
And last night with military night vision goggles. And last night I had tour number 402.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And in 402 tours, only once did I clients feel they didn't have a sign. And the other 401 tours, we've always had sightings, multiple. And we're having phenomenal sightings. There's actually quite a wave of activity going on right now in Sedona, Arizona. Someone just filmed a couple nights ago a major UFO sighting over Cottonwood, which is like 20 minutes away from,
well, that's where Travis is located, isn't he?
No, he's in Snowflake.
Snowflake. I'm sorry. Cottonwood, Snowflake. Come on, you guys.
That was just outside of Sedona. It's kind of, just next to Sedona. And someone filmed a major sighting there. I had 3 accounts shared with me of a major, really significant sighting that happened near our chapel, the Holy Cross in Sedona, and which is a famous both vortex and tourist destination. It was a church designed by a student of Frank Lloyd Wright. So, but a major sighting of a large amber orb shooting like a green beam to the ground, seen by 3 different people, unrelated to each other in the same area. And then I heard from another gentleman that 2 months before described the identical sighting, but said it happened 2 months before. And so I'm getting so many reports of stuff happening in Sedona. I mean, just this huge wave going on right now. And
and so nothing surprises me when I hear of another one. But on my tours, like for instance, last night we had a large amber orb come over us, very visible, didn't even need the night vision goggles, visible to the naked eye, just coming over us, and then just winked out, just disappeared. Earlier in the night, we'd seen two things in unison going across the sky in perfect unison, making nice arcing path. And later, we only go out and view for 2 hours. So early in the 2 hours, and later in the 2 hours, we saw another double of two things in unison. Last night, on two or even three occasions, we were flashing with a high-powered, laser pointer at these sightings we're having, and these things were like flashing back to us. Just about 3 nights ago on a tour, three tours ago, I had an item that I flashed out with the high-powered laser, went bam, bam, bam 3 times. Well, it flashed back 3 times. A little while later, flashed out 3 times, again 3 times, and then it flashed twice, and then later on, it would just flash once. But the first 2 times, my clients were like, wait a second, I'm going 1, 2, 3 with the laser, and it's clearly going 1, 2, 3 in response.